Recently, Xbox has added a new stellar exclusive to their lineup of games, and it starts with the letter R. No, not that garbage, get that out of here. I'm talking about Ravenlok. Overshadowed by the release of Redfall, Ravenlok is an indie game that's actually worth your time. Completed in about 3 to 4 hours, it's perfect for a fun and easy gaming afternoon or evening. With so many huge games coming out recently and in the near future, it's just nice to have a title to push through in one sitting without a lot of pushback, and that's what we have here. Ravenlok is an action-adventure game that leans into the adventure part of that genre more than most titles. Part of this is due to the simplicity of its action, but it's mostly due to the voyage you'll go on. Heavily inspired by Alice in Wonderland, Ravenlok tells a simple story of a girl transported through a mirror to a mystical fantasy world full of talking animals, magical locations, and an evil queen suppressing the world with her darkness. You're the hero this world needs, and your only goal is to liberate its cute inhabitants by overthrowing the wicked ruler. Along the way, you'll see many homages to Disney's 1951 hit. There's playing cards, talking animals, top hats, and more. So for the 4 people on the planet who've wanted a playable Alice in Wonderland game, well, here you go. Between this and Lies of P, it's going to be a fantastic year for Disney gaming. I poke fun at it, but the references to that movie were cool to pick up on. And truly, they do play a significant role, but they never overshadow the beauty of this world. The art style combines pixels and 3D models, and while that may sound like a contradiction, it really works well here. It creates some real scenes of beauty, rich in vibrant colors, and forcing me to take a few moments to just soak it all in. The gorgeous views made it even more painful when I realized that a good chunk of my footage had been corrupted while recording, which sucked. But hopefully you can see this team spared no expenses in bringing their desired art direction to life, easily matching some of the best stylized games I've played so far this year. I'm looking at you, Hi-Fi Rush. Whether it was the towering purple mushrooms of this forest, the calming and alluring blues of the void, or just the rich sun-glazed lights of the labyrinth, everything in this game wowed consistently with the visuals. So what is it you do in Ravenlok? Well, you fight, of course. You gotta contrast the beauty with comic violence if you want a bit of action in your action-adventure. Combat in Ravenlok is, say it with me, extremely simple. You have a sword and a shield, and you can swipe your sword at enemies ad nauseum given the lack of an endurance bar. As you play, you gradually unlock 4 abilities that function on a cooldown. You got a ranged attack, a stabbing dash, a flurry of quick melee strikes, and a ground pound that does AoE damage over time. And that is your entire arsenal, and it doesn't change throughout the game. It's more than enough though, as enemies are pretty much stun lock as soon as you hit them once, only forcing you to break stride if another enemy attacks, which is slow to happen. Many combat scenarios will spawn multiple foes, but once you wear down their numbers with your cooldown moves, you can easily clean up the rest with melee strikes that stun them into submission. In other words, you won't get much pushback from this combat system. It's very much a power fantasy, and with only one difficulty, you're going to romp through it pretty easily. It may sound like a negative, but I think it works for this sort of game. It's an indie title that wants to be short, simple, and sweet, and making combat complex would take away from that. It wants you to keep progressing consistently, and the lack of challenge ensures that you do just that. This remains true of the game's boss fights, of which there are quite a few. Most of them I beat in one go, although this first one in the Mushroom Forest was a challenge, but that was only because I didn't know that I could upgrade my weapons at this vendor. You'll want to keep paying him a visit because if not, you will fall behind and lose pace with the advancing strength of the enemies. There's no map, there's no quest markers telling you where to go, and you'll just pretty much have to listen to the NPCs, understand the items you need to find, and thoroughly explore all the paths you have available if you want to beat the game. Doing that, you'll be just fine. And without those extra features to mindlessly push you along, you'll have to think for yourself a bit, and I think that's one of the game's greatest strengths. This is certainly true when solving some of the game's few puzzles. I actually found myself having to jot down notes to keep things straight as I solved some of them. Again, the corrupted footage ruined my chances of showing you a bit of the best puzzle, but there are a few good ones here. No mind-bogglers, but ones that will give you pause to stop and think, which was nice. As previously mentioned, your goal is to overthrow the evil queen, but there are a few extra activities to do as well. There's a series of collectibles, some optional puzzles, and even a few hidden secrets to find that will unlock more achievements. If you do all of these, you can probably squeeze another hour or two out of the game, so that's something to keep in mind. But as you work on that main story, you'll come to realize that it is quite basic, but it fits the rest of the game. It's a plot-driven story full of characters who are cute visually, but provide very little substance. It's very much a fairy tale narrative about good overcoming evil through strong morals, kindness, and determination. Don't expect any sort of complex storytelling or a weaving together of gameplay mechanics with story beats. No, you won't get any of that here. But again, it's on brand for the style of game that Ravenlok wants to be, so I think it's perfect. Harmonic, that's the best word to describe it. Everything comes together and just makes for a good experience. And you know, as a result of all of this simplicity, Ravenlok would be an excellent action-adventure game to get younger gamers some experience within this genre. For children, it wouldn't necessarily be as easy as it would be for adults to complete, but it would be a great jumping off point to get them started. But if you are an adult, this one's still worth checking out, particularly if you're feeling worn down by all the huge games coming out this year, some of which take a dozen hours to complete, others of whom take several dozen hours to complete. If you just want to sit down and play a short, sweet action-adventure that will allow you to relax without shutting off your brain completely, Ravenlok has your back. We all need those sorts of games from time to time, and Ravenlok is the latest to deliver on that front. Thanks for watching. Hey guys, hope you enjoyed this quick look at Ravenlok. I didn't originally plan to make a video for this game, but after Redfall was a disaster, I didn't want to waste my money after picking up a month of Game Pass. Ravenlok called me in with its art style, and I stayed to see it through to the end. I recommend giving it a go if you're looking for something relaxing, short, and simple. I mean, if you have Game Pass, there's no reason not to play it if you're bored. Anyway, I know I've put out a lot of relatively short videos lately, but much of what I've been playing hasn't warranted any huge deep dives. That will change soon though with my Jedi Survivor video, so stay tuned for that. As always guys, thank you so much for watching. Please leave a like if you enjoyed the video, consider subscribing for more, follow me on Twitter at Nopnapnarp, join our Discord, the link is below, and as always, have a nice day and take care.